common misconceptions with jackals is everyone, it's throughout history, it's been related to, I would say, death and, rotting carcasses and things like that. But it's not always true. They do scavenge, yes, they do. They will come and eat rotting scavenge. But it's not always the case. They are very, very adaptable hunters, and they will, take down not a fully grown spotted deer, but maybe a fawn or a young spotted deer. They would take down young wild boar for sure, peacocks, and it's been said in history like the jackals are very vocal when they're defending their territory, when they're mating. They howl, and it has been said that it's associated with death, and it's a bad omen. But it's actually them communicating like how we would. So they are territorial, so they howl to keep others out of their territories, and also when it's time for mating, to attract mates and things like that. So they will howl. Well, conflict with humans, I don't think there's a conflict with humans. The recent case that happened somewhere close to Kalpura, in that area, that was purely due to rabies, and that rabies also could be something that was spread from domestic dogs to jackals, and not purely jackals having rabies. But rabies is something that you get in the wild, and they just they die off, and it just dies down there. But they will. I was shocked when the news was reporting it to say that jackals are attacking people, and people are walking around with sticks and clubs, because they will always avoid people. They're not going after children, or they're not going to do that. They're very shy and very secretive animals. So it was purely due to rabies, and when an animal gets rabies, they just don't seem to have control of themselves. So that's why they had attacked people. So no, there is no conflict. Actually, jackals, if you really think about it, are very helpful for people, especially people who are engaged in agriculture, because they keep the pests away. If you have problems with wild boar, or you have problems with monkeys, or you have problems with peacocks, or maybe mouse deer, if you have a family of jackals living in your agricultural land, you can say goodbye to all these problems. So they are actually very beneficial for people. So there's no conflict. They won't go after people. They might occasionally take the chicken or the goat, but still they would prefer to avoid. Threats, habitat loss is a huge issue for any animal, and especially jackals. And we don't know yet how big the extent of territories they have, but they do need space, because they're a medium-sized mammal, and they live in family packs at times, so they do need space. So they must be having quite a considerable territory. So habitat loss is a huge issue. Secondly, pesticides, because they do feed on rodents and things like that. So the rodents go and eat the crops laden with pesticides, and it goes down the food chain to the jackals. And that has been an issue that we have heard of from people in the field who've been saying, oh, we used to see jackals all the time, but then the pesticides started getting stronger and stronger, but now we don't see or hear the jackals as much as we do. Another problem is roadkills. There's quite a few roadkills that go, because they like to travel around. They mark their territories, and they do travel. So roadkills is an issue. Apart from that, hunting, they're not a targeted species for hunting, so I don't think hunting is much of an issue for jackals in Sri Lanka.